Pretty night. There's 2 deer there. The other one must be behind the tree. It's 2, looks like yearling does, and a nice forked horn. And Becky and I just had dinner with Mom. It was really good. So, yeah, some of you are probably going crazy because, I mean, I've noticed even some of the later guys have already left comments. I'm going to go in and see how many million comments I got to reply to. But I thought I'd show you the deer out there, and the one he's a really nice looking fork. I checked him out in the binoculars. And still don't know what to do with that baler. Not like I got time to mess with it either, but you know. Anyway, we'll see what tomorrow brings. One part about having oat hay in it. Between the birds and the freaking gray diggers that have been sneaking in here. Yeah. You just keep getting into a little more and a little more and a little more. Kind of looks like here maybe they're getting into what doesn't get cleaned out till the very end of the very end of summer. Just making a mess. That's all right. It'll get cleaned up later. So, I've had, I don't know how many comments asking about these. Try swapping them. They have been swapped. Actually, this one, the market kind of wore off already, but this one was the one that was originally on the decrease. This one was originally the increase. When we put the new valve in, these were back on their proper positions. So they don't matter. Even the valves are interchangeable. When I got up to the field and still had trouble after putting the new valve in, you know, easy to change coils, so that's what I did. And this one's working fine and this one's not. This is the coil off of this one, which worked fine before. This is the new valve. Still doesn't work in that position. That should just be a plug. If you have an open center system on the tractor, this gets another valve like these. It's not like looks like this on the outside, the inside is different. And this one, from what I can find, is supposed to be a check valve. So I don't know if the check valve might have something to do with it. I really have no clue there. But still, in my mind, I can't figure out why this one's not clicking when I put power to it, and this one is. So we're going to take them out. I got to get the oil backed off first, you know, and go back to making a big frickin' mess up here. But that's the plan for that portion of it. So I got to go back out and get the bucket again and break that fitting loose and let it sit here and dribble, and at least they're not completely closed, so that it doesn't have to dribble near as much. So, you know, I was able to do that in the field. I don't know if I can play with it here and get it any less, you know what I mean? I think I'm going to go put the remote in float and see if that'll get rid of some of it. Because the less pressure there is, the less oil there is to move. The less mess you make. Yeah, mess. Yeah, beautiful. I mean, this is worse than bringing a combine in when you can't clean the outside of it up and pulling the freaking shoe out in the middle of the floor. What it's full of crap. But, yeah, beginning of the day. It's going to be a long day. One way or the other. Yep, I got my umbilical cord to the tractor again. Trying to cycle both of them. This one actually is moving a little bit. I don't know if it's enough. It's not slamming like this one. You can just barely hear it. tractor valve's in float position. Therefore, anything comes out of here has to go out. And I did get that much movement when I very first bumped it. Haven't got any more since. Doesn't matter which one I have energized. So I don't know how this really works. This one should be the return. This one should be the pressure coming in. And this one goes to the cylinders. So I don't know if the pressure coming in is check valve controlled. That's the only thing I can think of the check valve would be for. And if the check valve is scooched, well, man, maybe that would be the issue. I don't know. Because there ain't nothing in the book about what the check valve does. Just that it's there and make sure it's clean if you have it apart. That's not very much. Not very much at all. And yeah, it may be partially a ground fault because it's so dry, and Tahoe's over there whining. Ty was checking the West Hayfield line and said the tester wasn't working, figured the battery was dead. Well, battery's not dead. He just checked it off this charger. It's all this charger runs is it goes out here, follows the line down. We got a jump that comes up and it follows that lower wall all the way over. Then jumps up just to run these runs out here where Tahoe and the old lady are. 5.8. That's a little better. So what she just did was we had the rope wire that just went around. So we knew that was an issue because they've knocked it off. That's not as high as I'd like to see it, but that's more than high enough to wake them up. And oh look, Sapphire! Yeah, Sapphire! And yeah, they're probably just going to sneak out now. Trying to get them so we can get them up into that hayfield. But the big issue is she don't have any juice up there, and that's off the other charger in the back barn. So, fun times. But hey, we got this one working now. The only reason we knew it was bad is because she thought the battery was dead to test her. Yeah, she's not happy today. It's already icky out. Good. It's only 10 o'clock. My arm hurts. Hey, look, Ron's here. He brought goodies. I owed him money, so what's he do? Brings me goodies. Say hi, Ron.
Hello.
Yep, herding cats. Got the gate open. All the cows are clear over there with most of the calves. But no, these ones can't figure out where the gate is. And I'm not taking a bike down on this hill. I do want to cut them off, though, which may not happen. Well, I cut most of them off. Hey! Yeah, you! Go that way. They've all been right by the gate. They've all looked right through it. And if we don't get them in there, then I'll go through the fence. But at this point, Ty just said it. F them. They'll figure it out eventually. Oh, they don't take too much fence out. Oh yeah, irrigation's going too. I don't know if I showed that earlier. Big guns down here. Yeah, little ones on the hillside over there. And the pipe with the hole in it is on the red bike sitting in front of the shop to get patched. So I had to steal Becky's. And Rod's up visiting with Becky and Blakely. It's lunchtime, so that's where we're gonna go.
It's all bent around.
She's taking stuff out and telling me to look. There's the check valve. Yeah, I know. The book says to use a brass rod. I use my Leatherman. It is free. It opens and closes as it should.
This bottom piece.
Oh, she's talking about where the port.
Could it be a potential problem?
I don't think so. Take my pliers. While I'm videoing, because there's no issues in here, so I'm going to put this back in. Put it in before we get it dirty and buggered up. And it doesn't want to go straight. Go figure. And I get it right-handed. Oh, come on. There we go. Now, the only thing I do see that she's talking about is, yeah, you can see it. I see a burr around that hole.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. Because of the way the metal is. That's what I'm trying to say.
If I held you still, you could probably see it too, right?
Could that be our entire fucking problem?
That would be a factory defect. Because I see ridges going down in that. Not threads.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they aren't threads. It's whoever was machining that. Had their head up their ass. If I get a better picture of it, you would see. But hey.
I'll try it with my phone.
Yeah, Firehouse Custom Fabs. Steve, if you see this, would you be ashamed to send something out the door that looked like that? Because God knows I would. We didn't look at that before because, well, we had oil running everywhere when we took them out. If we look at the increase side, really, I need a freaking light. Light would help. Hold on a minute. There you can see. That port is nicely, smoothly machined as it should be. Come on. This one there, you see the ridges? Freaking 2-year-old could do a better job than that. That is 100% factory fuck up. There is no way, shape, or form that this valve coming and going could have done any of that damage. It's a wonder that didn't damage the valve originally. But the good thing is everything else inside looks great. The bad thing is that doesn't. That might explain why last year there was a piece of shit in the pressure transducer, which is that little bugger there. But to the best of my knowledge, yeah, that goes straight to this line, and that's when it goes back to the cylinders. So for decrease, it has to come past this valve to go that way. And from this side, it would run down and has to cross somewhere. Unless it crosses in there. Ah, yeah, it probably does. A little port up above. So this one puts pressure over to come through there to get to that hose, and then this one dumps it back out. That's how it works. It's hard to tell because, you know, there's not a damn thing in the book that shows the porting in this. You know, it just tells you what port goes where, but it doesn't show what goes through. I mean, we could probably pull these plugs on this end and get a better idea, but these plugs are also, if we had the accumulator, which what these wires are for, mounts to the back of the baler, and as bales come out, the first one would come out and shift to one side, second come out and shift to the other side, third come out, and once 3 are on it, it dumps them off. That's what goes here, and it would be O-ring sealed in those 3 ports. So, not saying we can solve the issue, but I'm saying we may have found why we have an issue. You know, from 96 to now, not like anybody's going to stand behind that. But you would think, no, it still doesn't make sense. This one's actually the pressure one, the increase. It's the original valve, and I find gloves laying everywhere. She buried everything for me. Here I am trying to find parts. She totally buried it. There's our brand new valve. And I see nothing in it. Nothing in the end. And I'll just about guarantee if I slip the magnet on here and put power to it, that valve will cycle as it's supposed to. That's what we're going to do while it's out, by the way. Well, that's the fitting that line goes to right there, which is out of that goobered up hole.
That's just it.
And focus. You don't see daylight through it. But oh wait, you do a little bit. Maybe Ron can. See, Ron's still here. Ron's even been helping. Maybe Ron can hold that so we can look in it.
Oh, it's got metal shavings, like drill bit shaving in there.
It looks like.
Looks like drill bit shavings.
The shit they left from doing that.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
So,
Take a punch from the other side.
I mean, it doesn't totally explain why, but that blocking definitely would not allow it to escape like it should.
Yeah. I can overpressure it.
So, thinking of the best way to word this. To the stupid motherfucker that machined that in 1995, 1996, somewhere in there, kiss my ass. I mean, like I said, anybody would be ashamed to let that out of the shop like that. And if in 96, I mean, maybe it was a CNC machine, but a CNC machine usually is programmed to where it doesn't leave anything like that unless they broke a tool in it. Doesn't mean this is the whole problem, but we're hoping. And she says it's not a shaving, so now we got to figure out what's going on. Well, there we go. There's nothing in there now. That goes into the bottom of the block, and then the line to the cylinders comes on it. Focus. But Ty had to use a punch. She's trying to get a picture of that to send to a baler mechanic we know in Eastern Washington. Well, she knows him. We've been asking him questions, and there's a few of you that have, given me, not necessarily giving me ideas, but mostly already, giving me ideas, but they're these things that I did an hour before you said it, or the day before you said it, you just hadn't done it yet. So this is what was jammed in there. It almost looks like there's a hex on that end, like for an Allen. But that's not threads, it's grooves around it. And this end, focus, looks very similar to the inside of the increase and decrease valves, but it's not, because they're flat topped and this has a dish in it. So where did this come from? I have no freaking idea. And that rubber hose over there that goes to the cylinders, we replaced that 10-15 years ago because the steel line got rubbed through and dumped half the oil out of the tractor before I knew it. And on a Saturday when you're not going to wait a week for the part, you run in and you have a hose made because it'll work just the same and last longer, in my opinion. So, mystery part. Anybody that knows, tell me what it is. Tell me where it came from. 99.9% sure it didn't come out of one of those cylinders.
If it did, we're in big trouble.
And I've had both sides of those all apart before and never seen it. Weird. Back like a wet dream. I mean a bad dream. See that mark on the side of there? That correlates to that little piece that we just took out of the fitting. That's when this is in there and tight, that points straight down toward that fitting. And Ron's looking at it with a flashlight at the moment. With that little piece I was just showing you that he's got a hold of there. That one. He's looking at the bottom, but if he turns that over, the wear on that there matches that just about perfectly. Then the question is, where the hell did it come from? And I'm really seriously wondering if it didn't come from a valve on the tractor, because we ended up replacing one of the remote valves a few years ago, and it wouldn't run the baler, it wouldn't pick stuff up. And as you noticed last fall, I was having the same issue with the one that we usually use for everything heavy. Number one, it wouldn't run the baler, and number two, it wouldn't lift the disc and it wouldn't lift the cultipacker. So now we got another issue somewhere, but I think maybe this solves the baler problem. Maybe. You know, that piece just got in the wrong spot and wouldn't let it decrease. I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm going to take this moment to apologize to whoever machined this. That was not a machining flaw. That is from that little piece bouncing around in there. It matches everything. It totally makes sense after we figured it out. So, to whoever it was that was machining these, I'm sorry. You know, I mean, I couldn't see, you know, whether a person did it or a machine did it. I couldn't see how they could screw that up. And now I know they didn't. And we still don't know what this is from. What we have determined, because see, I use the cheaters. What we have determined is they definitely are not threads. And that's not a hex. If you notice, it's rolled over. That's from being in there beating back and forth, because the increase and decrease is going all the time. So this had to just sit there and just beat itself to death. And that's why, I mean, where the broken chunk is, I have no idea. I mean, it could be in line, it could be in a cylinder, it could be wherever this came from. And spoke is back up. There. It does have a orifice through it. From this side it looks kind of triangle shaped, but it's not. Because from this side, and looking with the cheaters, it is perfectly round. There it is. So, I don't know. I really don't. All I can figure is, like I say, one of them remote valves off the tractor. And it's either the one that's in there now that's not working right, or the one that it replaced. And guess what? You can't get those anymore. Actually, now they're supposed to be an outfit that's rebuilding and supposed to be doing a good job. They say they're new, but they're rebuilt. Because when you see the pictures, they've got marks from O-rings on them and stuff. They're cleaned up, but they can't clean them up all the way. Anyway, still a dilemma. Still don't know but we're finding more. Ty got the chunks out of there. Needle nose pliers, pair of bent pliers got in there. And checked it all out with the mirror. The burr at this edge of the hole is very evident from underneath, but it's not hurting anything. Can't do anything about it. So, and our other hole around the corner for the transducer is fine. So, hopefully there's no more issues right here. I already did this just so I know, so I can show you. If you listen to this, and if you notice, there's no sparky when I'm doing this. I don't know why that if I go like that, it sparks, but that valve is hitting like it should. And, I already did this one too. But sound close enough to the same to me. I was going to put the old one back in here, and nah, we'll just keep it for a spare. So now, assuming we don't have any electrical issues, we should be able to bail again. Should be able to. Of course, only having one load bar in there working. Everything I've read, and I've read a lot, I've read way too much. I've read more in the last week than I have in the last 20 years probably. It says that the computer will automatically, all on its own, if one is not working, it will take the other number and double it to figure what the pressure needs to be. So, we should be good to go now, I hope. And that's going to be the end of the video. We ain't done yet. It's way too dry to bail. It's like 95 degrees at least. It was 92 earlier. But this is ready to go again. Or I have to dump some more oil in the tractor because, well, you know, I've drained twice now without putting oil back in. So it means another gallon of oil in that thing probably. And I'm guessing when we get a chance, we're going to be looking at the remote valves on the tractor and see why one's screwed up. The interesting thing is, the one we lost before was the one that ran the baler, and when this one went, the replacement for it was the one running the baler. And you know, the funny thing is, this is a 4900 Hester. The first ones, I believe, well, the first ones I know of anyway, were a 4800. Almost identical baler. Almost. But they did not have a connection to the tractor. But I don't even know if they had a console. But the only thing hydraulic was for the pickup, because it was self-contained, like on the small balers with the hydraulic tension. Except it was self-contained and it did its own thing. I don't know how they did it, if they ran electric to it to do it or what. Because I was, never run one of them. And then the 4900s, you're using the tractor hydraulics to control the baler. And now the new ones, they've gone back to a self-contained baler with the console to control what the baler's doing. And anybody wondering, yeah, we're looking for one. Looking for a 3x4. We have kind of been looking for a few years. And it's just getting closer to that time to upgrade. Bad thing is, there's a lot, even the new 4x4s, there's a lot of inexpensive ones out there, but I want to go to a 3x4, I think. Well, I know I do, because they make a more uniform bale. Anyway, so thanks for watching, everybody. Oh yeah, I fixed my pipe earlier too. There's a little shiny spot there. It had like a BB-sized hole in it, like it was wore from the inside out. Not even a ding around it. And the little traver will be back in there in a little bit. Might actually have Tygo run it back out right now, or I will. I don't know. We'll see. It's late enough. On the other hand, though, maybe we'll just let it run in and I'll shut it off tonight. But I think I want to give it another pass where it's at. So, okay. Hope you all had a great Saturday. Hope everybody has a great Sunday, and thank you for watching.